Hello, trading is closed on December 17, 2015. My last call said absent a gap over yesterday's high, which we didn't have, that I expected lower prices, which is what happened. Before going over today's calls, I've gotten a few new subscribers to the software. I would like to encourage them that before anyone uses my system or anyone's system, that he understand it before risking any money. One of the advantages of the software is not just that it gives the calls, but it also gives the reasons behind the calls in a separate window and basically teaches one how to use the system. For instance, in other systems, when there's a sell, you go short. When there's a buy, you go long. MEJT does not work that way. When there's a sell, it means that there is a lower price target, and it doesn't have to be hit immediately. It's all color-coded. Here's the target, and there's typically support under it. An ultimate sell means ultimately lower prices will print. They don't have to wait long very often, but it doesn't tell us the next move. Here's the target, and here's the support under it. Here's a buy in the afternoon. If you look in the separate window, it will tell you the target price is 0 because the target was already hit. It said ultimately higher prices would print. They were, but there was resistance over it. I don't have any new MEJT targets for tomorrow because it's mostly an intraday trading system. So I'm forced to rely on other stuff. Let's look at the long-term picture first. A lot of people have been calling for new all-time highs pretty soon. There was no increase in breadth even on this rally on Wednesday, and I still think the top's in, and even if it isn't, we're not going too much higher. I have a rule of mine not related to the MEJT system that this formation should lead to a challenge of the upper Bollinger Band. I said yesterday when there was a big rally, I didn't see how that would happen. I still can't figure out how it's going to happen. There's one other way to read this chart on the dailies. Here's half a diamond, a little bit strange looking, but I think you can call it a diamond. Here's a stilt, here's a stilt. Set the height of the diamond at 61.8%. 100% is the target. There's a pullback to the 61.8% level, a pullback to the 50% level, and it's reasonable that we should pull back to the 38.2% level, which is about 1960s, in the low 1960s, and I think that's where we are headed. If that were to happen, we would hit this failed MEJT target of 1985.65. The only failed targets would be right at major peaks, which can be a failure if you want to call it that, but I consider it part of the system. The system routinely has a failed target at a major change in trend. We went 13.57 points down after the announcement, 20.72 points up. We should undercut this 2056 price by an amount greater than 20.72 points. Note the resistance today right at that price. I think it should hold. Any rally that is should hold below that price. What about tomorrow? That was the long term. What about tomorrow? Well, TD lines from DeMark don't always work when they're this close, but if they worked here, this break doesn't meet the sustainability standards, and he would look for a retracement back up to this line. It isn't too much higher, than the close, but it's significantly higher than where futures are trading now because they are tanking. We had a drop, held all day long, and as soon as the big money left, we have a wall into the close with a huge drop right at the end. As you know, this is I feel, retail customers selling with abandon. Usually when there's a wall like this, especially if you can't break through during the day of a long consolidation, and you break through right at the end, I think it's retail customers unloading stock at any price no one wants to buy. It's the professionals who are compelled to take the other side of the trade, and usually when that happens, they get their money returned pretty quickly by having the market gap up when we open the following day. Well, futures are far below fair value as I speak. But I'm going to grit my teeth and say that we're going to have a gap up tomorrow. If I'm wrong, it'll be obvious from the open, and I don't usually hold anything overnight, so it won't hurt me. I certainly, if I did hold overnight positions, wouldn't be wanting to sell into this drop, and if I miss it, I miss it. Just recall that if we do have a gap up, I think any rally is going to be limited to 2056 and probably won't even hit that level. And so the upside here is pretty limited. And on the downside, I'm looking for close to 80 handles under where we close. So that's the risk-reward ratio if you want to play along. That's today's call.